Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame, and this is the recap review for the brand new on television series Delilah. So when I did my last thoughts video that included different TV shows that I watched, I completely forgot to mention that this was going to be a show that I was going to do recap reviews on. I'd already known that it was coming out. I was so excited. And I mean, it was before I started seeing previews on, the actual network because of, certain people that I follow on social media. And they were, talking about it. I was like, oh, okay. So, I already knew some of the people that were going to be on here. So it made it very exciting for me to find out what was going to happen. So for those of y'all who don't know what it's ultimately about, it's about a woman who is a lawyer named Delilah. I think her last name is Connolly. And she is all about fighting the injustices that people who are good people face, and the rich people who want to try to, bring her down and not let her see the light of day. So I don't know if this is going to be kind of scandal / how to get away with murder-ish. I'm not sure, but we go see. So yeah, the episode starts out with Delilah sleeping. Like she was asleep, and then she woke up out of her sleep to a text message from someone named Leah saying something like we need to talk or whatever. And so she looks like she's kind of bothered. So I'm like, okay, is this her sister? Is this a friend? Like, who is this? And why do you seem like you're bothered by the text message from somebody saying that they really need to talk to you? So then she gets up the following day and goes about her regular routine, which is getting her kids ready for school, practice, everything else. And then eventually, after dropping everybody off, she was going to go to work. So while she was getting the kids stowed away in the vehicle, her receptionist, I can't think of the other term, there's another term for someone who works in a law office who is at the receptionist's desk. It's something else I can't even think of. I should know all this stuff because of my sister's profession. But anyway, no disrespect. I just cannot even think of what it is right now. But anyway, so she was called, the assistant or whoever they are, called her and wanted to know, if she needed to cancel anything that she had on the calendar for the day. And apparently she has already been briefed and she was told, like, I'm not taking on any new cases. So she canceled somebody and she was going to meet up with someone who I'm very happy is in this show, and we'll get to her later on. But yeah. So she go and drop the kids off, do what she going to do. So she gets to work and she's being briefed. And before she walks into her office, the woman was like, oh, and Leah Davis is in your office. And so she was like, what? In my office, she's here. Like, what you mean? And you could tell she's having somewhat of a small breakdown of sorts. Like, she ain't here for it. And I'm like, girl, what is going on? So anyway, she go in her office and she greet old girl. And she's trying to see, is she trying to, see if she gonna get any money up out of her because of, like, the alumni situation. Because, like, if you are part of certain schools or whatever, people come sniffing around wanting some money. And so she was like, if that's why you're here, I can't help you this year. The most going on. I'm thinking that she has gone through a recent separation or divorce from her husband or child's father or breakup. I don't know what it is right now, but I'm pretty sure that I will be brought up to speed. But they are no longer together. When the children were in the car, the youngest child, which is a little boy, he had the mama's phone and he FaceTimed her brother, I think, and all of that. And they were talking and all that. So I don't know what's going on with that. Like, either the dad ain't in the life, the dad is deceased. Like, I don't know what's going on with that. If I missed it, then y'all let me know down in the comment section where the daddy at and what's going on with that. So anyway, she is in the office talking to the person and she's trying to understand why she's there. She's like, well, I have 7 minutes before my Zoom meeting, so you're going to have to make it quick. So to make a long story short, she said that she was terminated from her job where she was working doing something, well, making radios for the military, and she feels as though she was unlawfully fired and someone else was dismissed as well, and that, you know, she's lost a lot, she's facing eviction. And she was like, you just said you got fired, like how is all this even happening? And she was like, well, you said it yourself, 2020 has been, you know, rough for everybody. So the woman ain't got no money, she ain't got nothing, and you know, she kind of giving her a little bit of hope. And she was like, well, you know, I ain't got no money. And so the receptionist is like, oh, well, we understand that. And they let her know that they have to file everything in order to see if they can take the case and all this other stuff. So this woman is basically having false hope in this moment, because as soon as she walked out the door, old girl was like, well, I thought you said you weren't taking on any new case. She was like, girl, I ain't gonna take that case. And so everybody looking like, okay, are you sure though? Because you ain't making it plain to her. Like, why is she over here thinking that the case about to get took though? Like, you about to take the case though. Don't do that. Like, don't give people false hope, especially if she really going through the way she going through. I don't know what is wrong with her, but later on in the episode, it just seems like old girl has been sketchy. Now, if she's on the up and up nowadays, don't nobody know, because she has been sketchy in the past. But anyway, let's get back to the show. So she was on her way to this lunch date that she has with, I'll tell y'all in a few minutes, but she's on the phone with her child's father. Again, I don't know if they were married, whatever is going on, I don't know, but you know, the person who is playing the children's father is Lyric Bent. Do y'all know who Lyric Bent is? Lyric Bent is this fine Canadian Jamaican man that it don't make no sense to look this good. Like, every time I see him, it's like he get finer and finer. But anyway, one of the last projects he did was She's Gotta Have It on Netflix. Has it been? I think he's been in some Tyler Perry stuff before. Like, he's in a lot of stuff all the time. He is so fine to me. But anyway, apparently he don't be, you know, doing what he needs to do as a father. He's behind on child support. And he is trying to get Delilah to understand that he has a meeting that he's supposed to attend tonight. I'm thinking that their daughter is doing, she's taking some sort of music lessons, and I think she's going to have a recital. That's what I'm thinking it is. I have no idea. But she was practicing while her mama was trying to rebraid some braids that she had while she was practicing. I don't know if it was a violin or whatever she had, y'all. Forgive me for that. But I'm not musically inclined, and I don't do all that stuff no more. I was just into piano and certain other instruments. Every time we get to the string section, I don't know. I hadn't had to learn none of that stuff since I was in elementary school. Like, I had to know all the strings and all that stuff for whatever reason. But yeah. So anyway, I don't know if he's trying to tell her that he's not going to be in attendance or what. But yeah, she went off about the child support that has not been happening. And he was like, well, if I make this meeting tonight, I might be able to get this advance. So yeah, we're going to see how that go. But she about to go into this little lunch date. So Delilah is having lunch with her friend Tamara, who is in real life Jill Marie Jones. Now, y'all know good and well, y'all know who she is. Tony Childs Garrett, honey, from Girlfriends. But yeah, I think that's like one of her most notable roles to date. But yeah, she's in this, and she is being so petty. So she learns of the case. And so she's like, you better not take that case, girl. You better not take that case. You know how she is. You know how Leah Davis is. Don't take that case. She the type of person that'll sit up there and catch a flat and then call somebody to come help her out and have the audacity to have a flat spare tire too. Life is not fair. She just lazy. I was just like, girl, what is all the reading? And then, like, apparently when they were in school, she stole Delilah's boots and went around telling everybody that they were hers. And Delilah actually, her name was still on the box. It's like, girl, I don't understand what is going on. I don't know if she's turned over a new leaf or whatever, but there is something about Delilah that everybody knows, that despite her saying, oh, I'm not going to take this case, I'm not going to take this case, everybody like, girl, we know you're going to take this case. no matter what you say. She just sat up there and prodded and poked at her and was like, "Give me her number." And she was like, "I ain't got it on me." She was like, "Girl, I know you got her number. You've been texting her back and forth. So don't try to sit up here and lie about you ain't got her number." But they doing the most. Apparently, apparently, Tamara is dating someone who we know. I've apparently seen this person in Sons of Anarchy. He's been in a lot of other things, but things might be getting serious, and she brought him up, and they supposed to go away for like a little weekend or something. And so, that was a very small topic of discussion because most of it was about Leah Davis. So yeah, I don't know what it is about her, but I'm really curious to see how it all ends. But it does seem like she's gonna take that case. So there was someone who came by the office that wanted to interview with Delilah, and we all know her mainly from Orange is the New Black. She is the woman who had the afro. She was the black officer who had the afro in the show. She has big, beautiful eyes. I'm an eye person, so I'm not trying to say nothing out of the way about her. Like, I am an eye person, so please don't get it twisted. I don't want nobody to come for me because of that. She has big, beautiful eyes to me. But anyway, she's waiting on Delilah because she's late. And, she's questioning the receptionist, and she was like, "Is she always late?" And I noticed earlier in the episode, she was talking to somebody, and it turned out to be her, Demetria. And she asked her, the receptionist, she was asking the receptionist if she could look up the bus schedule for her. So she had to catch a bus over there to the interview. So anyway, she's asking so many questions. She was like, "Is this the only office in here? Is this the only, who is that back there?" I like the fact that even though it's a small firm, it's just her or whatever, I like the fact that she actually has an in-house therapist. A lot of places do not understand that they need to have an in-house therapist for their clients so that they don't have to sit up there and be like, "Oh, well, you should go somewhere else. We'll refer you somewhere else." No. Y'all can get all the billable hours there. I don't understand why people don't understand the correlation. But anyway, I'm sorry, I digress. Stuff like that, amazing. I like stuff like that. To me, it makes sense. But anyway, so Delilah pops up. And so she was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm late." And so all that reading she was just doing, she was like, "Oh, no, were you late? Were you? Oh, okay." So then, they're supposed to have the interview. And so she was like, "Well, do you mind if we walk?" Old girl is dressed all the way down, got heels on and everything. She was like, "Sure, okay." So they go for a walk, and she's talking to her, and she is explaining how, she's talking to Delilah, and she's like, "Well, what advice can you give to a young black woman like myself who wants to make it in the legal profession?" And so she was like, "Don't have kids." And so she stopped and looked at her. She was like, "Well, that was mostly a joke." So then they're talking, and she is just really bringing it in this interview, to be honest. She double majored in African studies and Spanish in some form. I forgot what it was. Cuban studies or something. I don't know, because she has that part of her as well going on. And she actually ended up speaking in Spanish to Delilah and said something. And y'all, I'm telling y'all, that interview went so well. But Delilah was like, "If I could, I might hire you." And so she basically was saying, like, "Girl, I can't hire you. I've seen all the debt that you have from all them student loans," especially from her talking about she has gone to law school, and she, you can tell she fresh out or about to come out right now. And she told a story about how Delilah fought a case that she lost. But what drove her to want to even go to law school was seeing her on the steps outside of the courthouse after she had lost a case. And the words that she said, everything that she said, it was so inspirational to her that she was just like, "Oh no, I had to go ahead and apply. I had to go ahead and submit and go ahead and go to law school." And so she was like, "Well, whether or not this is true or you just looked it up online, I'm here for what you're saying." but I can't hire you, but if I could, I would. Y'all, Delilah was shook because she was like, okay, are you sure? Is that your final answer? And so she was like, well, I was looking over, I saw the answer, that's what it's called, that Delilah and them had to file. She was like, I was looking at the answer that your receptionist had, and I just thought you'd like to know that the template is updated. They just updated it like a week ago or something, but the one that she has, that she had printed out, it's the old template. And if y'all were to turn that in, they would hand it back to you. It would be rejected. So I just figured y'all would just look it up online and, check into that. Man, old girl left to go catch her bus right on time. And the receptionist was like, yeah, that girl, she doing the most or whatever. And so Delilah went on ahead and told her, that the interview went well and that, she need to go and check into that situation with the template. And so she was like, what? So we gonna see how that go. I'm pretty sure she's gonna be feeling threatened very, very soon. So Delilah's daughter, who plays the violin, I'm hoping that that's the right instrument that I'm talking about. She is outside of school walking with one of the friends that she has, who I think she is, doing something musically inclined as well. But what the issue is that Delilah was so mad about outside of the child support is that their child needs a new instrument. That girl be having to over correct and do the absolute most just for her notes to come out the way they need to. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if the strings toe down. I don't know if it's tuned or can't be tuned any better. Like, I don't know what is going on with the violin, but she be having to do the absolute most to get the sounds that she gets to come out. And so the girl was like, well, just get a new one. And she was like, it's not that easy. Like, she basically trying to tell old girl, we ain't got it. But, without, saying it, because that's embarrassing. So she was just like, well, just think about it. We can give you the friends and family discount, And so she was like, I don't know if we'll be able to do that. So we're going to see where that goes. Delilah pulled on up to Leah's house, and she's on the phone with the person who she had looking into the case. And with the corporation that Leah was working for, they found out that the guy who Leah said had gotten fired or dismissed or whatever, he had a golden parachute package and, he had a nice little retirement set up. Now, he might have been older, or it was some kind of a situation that she is about to face that was offered to him. But yeah, they said that she was fired because she was insubordinate and it was some tardiness, a whole lot of tardiness going on. So basically what she said about her on her behalf was what it was, but everything that she said about him, it just didn't add up because she made it seem like they both got fired for the same reasons. But he looked into her a little bit deeper. He did a little background check. He found out that she went over to Old Boy House, the person who's like over the company, whoever Osborne is, like the company is named after this person, went over there, got into an altercation with the wife and some more. And the neighbors are saying that they feel like it's because it's something dealing with the husband, but nobody's for certain. But I'm like, okay, what is it? Was she sleeping with him? Like, what is really going on? But so she was like, okay, let me see what's going on. I'm at her house. I'm about to go ahead and talk to her. So she came in there and she gave us some paperwork and said, I cannot take your case, just as I suspected that I would not be able to do, but I do have the answer to your eviction situation. I have attached some names of some other lawyers who you can contact that might be able to help you out, but I cannot do anything as far as this main case that you're talking about. So she was like, oh, okay, well, that's cool. You good on that. And she was like, well, it's all right because HR sent over something not too long ago and all I got to do is sign it and then I'll get they're willing to pay me out. So she was curious, like, okay, what you mean? Like, that was quick. Like, what made them even call you? So she was like, I don't know. They might have, heard that or figured out that I'd gone to see you. So she was like, why would they know that you came to see me? And she was like, remember, I told you earlier that they're watching me. And when she did go to her office, she did mention that they are watching her. They have eyes on her. So Delilah's wheels are turning like, okay, what is going on here? And so she looked over the paperwork. She was like, you can't sign this. They are telling you that they will buy you out and give you a year's salary if you turn over all your passwords to all your social media and everything else. Give them your phone and your laptop, like all of this. It's like they trying to scrub her clean. That's the way I'm looking at it. Like, okay, you doing the most. She was like, you can't do that. Like, no. She was like, well, that's the only way that you're going to be able to pay me. So, I mean, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. But I think Delilah's going to take this case. So Delilah went on ahead and asked her straight up, you know, did you have a romantic relationship with him for him to act this way? And so she was like, girl, he is 55 and white. He is not putting it down like that. So she said, you know, why would you even ask me that? And she was like, well, there's a police report out there that said that you went over to the house and set it off. And she was like, look, that was the night following the day, you know, that was the same day that she had gotten fired. And so she got towed up a little bit. She got lit, as she likes to say, as people like to say in things. She went over there to basically express her frustration. And that's all it was. She took it too far, but it definitely wasn't nothing like that. So she is seeing these emails that she has saved. And she was like, okay, if I promise to pay your rent for this month, will you hold off on signing this paperwork? She was like, no, I can't do that. They said I got to sign it before the end of the day in order for me to get the deal. She was like, trust me, they can wait another day. Do we have a deal? So she was like, yeah, I guess. So she ended up asking her to pass off the number to the other dude that, you know, got fired. If I'm not mistaken, that's the dude's name. I think his name is Gary. But yeah, it's a mess. So Delilah's daughter, who is the one who plays the violin, her friend took her to this place that has a lot of violins, and she is showing her stuff. And the man who I guess owns the shop, I don't know if that's somebody who's a friend of the family or if he's like an adopted father. I don't know what he is to her. I think they did say it briefly at one point in time, or a friend of the family or whatever. But yeah, he's heard about how amazingly well she plays, and he presented her with a violin that belonged to someone who played in the symphony, in the National Symphony. And like the woman, it still belongs to her. So she was like, well, how much is it? The man heard her play. She set it off. Like, you could tell the look on her face that she fell in love with it. And like while she was playing, you know how some people, when they really get into their mode, she was like playing and her eyes were closed. The man looked at the girl. The girl was like, I told you. Like, that's how amazingly well she plays. So found out that the only way they would sell it is if it was for $10,000. So she done got home, told her mom, was like, $10,000? So Lord have mercy, they going into that. It's too much going on. So she and the daughter got into it a little bit, and, you know, she was like, you know, we already paid like $1,200 for the one that you have. And she was like, yeah, that's why it sounds like that. It sounds exactly like that's how much it cost. And, you know, she was like, the best I could do is $3,000. And she was like, can I call Dad? You know, she was like, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do it, but I mean, you're welcome to. So she excused herself from the table, went on by her business. So then the two boys are left, and she gets on the phone, and she is still trying to call Gary. I think his last name is Shay. He won't answer the phone. So then after dinner is over, she is hand washing dishes, and the oldest boy is helping her, and she's listening to Irreplaceable by Beyonce. And she's looking really, really sad. And I'm like, what is going on? So the boy starts singing down. I was like, excuse me, sir. Like, that boy can sing. And so, like, earlier in the episode, like at the beginning, she told him not to go to some park. It's a specific park in general that he likes going to, I guess. And when he came in for dinner, the mama asked where he's been. He said he was at that park. She was like, what did we just discuss this morning? Y'all, after he sang that song, she hugged him really, really tight and was like, I just want you to be safe. And I'm like, I wonder if this is what I think it is. I'm not going to say nothing, but y'all put down in the comment section if y'all think it's what I'm thinking it is. I don't know. I might be reading too much in it, but it might be what I think it is. I don't know. I do not know, but it is what it is. So the youngest child, he sees this exchange and then he walks off, and you could tell he's sad. So Delilah goes up to his room and asks him, is everything okay up there? And he was like, I guess. And I thought that I was hearing incorrectly at the beginning of this episode, but I'm thinking that this child is in foster placement with her or something like that. Because the oldest boy told him that he can't take this toy with him, and he's going to be going with his mama on like another day to leave. And I guess they about to try to, put him back in the house. Like, y'all, I don't know what is going on, but the child is sad. And she was just like, for you to be such a small boy, you have a lot going on. You must be very special or whatever. And so, like, he is so sweet. Like, every time they show him in a scene, he is so sweet. But anyway, I don't know what's going on, but the most is going on. So Delilah has shown up to Gary's house. They moving or something. And so the wife was there. And so she was like, oh, are you the, new housekeeper nanny or something? She was like, no. And introduced herself. She was like, oh, so you're the lawyer who's been calling Gary. And so she was like, yes. So he come outside and was like, who is this? And when he found out, he was like, I cannot talk to you. And so Delilah is like, I'm just trying to figure out what is so dangerous about this product that you have created. He apparently created their radio and he feels like something's dangerous about it. Now, Leah mentioned that before, but she was never able to say to her, well, I don't know why he thought that it was dangerous, but he said it to her, or he said it in the email, but nobody knows why it's dangerous, I guess, outside of him. But apparently the folks didn't listen, and she was like, you need to just tell me what it is, because if you feel like this is something that's dangerous and the soldiers are going to have access to it, people need to know. So it has just gotten to the point where he was like, I cannot be seen talking with you. I don't have time for this. My wife has tried to have a baby. She couldn't have it. Every time we look up, she having a miscarriage. We were finally able to have this baby because we had a surrogate, and the baby come home tomorrow. So, he done already told the wife to go in the house so he can kind of explain a little bit better. But he was like, please leave me alone. I ain't got time. These people watching us. So she leave, and when she rolling down the street, she just so happened to look over, and she sees somebody sitting in a blacked out truck. They done let the window up. I'm talking about, y'all got blacked out windows. Y'all doing the most. Y'all doing the most. And I mean, I'm guessing it's still government/military affiliated, but y'all is doing the most. Y'all are really doing the most out here. It wouldn't surprise me if they try to kill him and or Leah at this point. She in the process of calling Leah now and told Leah, do not sign that paperwork. Call me back. She ain't even answering the phone. She ain't got nothing going on. She ain't got the first child. To my knowledge, she ain't got nothing going on. So it's like, why you ain't answering the phone? They probably done snatched her up, killed her or something. I don't know. I'm thinking the worst, but I'm hoping for the best. Tamra is at work, and she seems to be at a high-powered law firm where she is, sorry, but she seems like the token black person. But anyway, I understand she's very effective, but she does seem like the token black person. But anyway, the receptionist come in and tell her that they need her in one of the other folks' office. And so she go in there and they tell her that something is going on with the same organization that Leah has come to Delilah about, Fred Osborne's situation, and they feel like something is on the horizon and that they're looking, there's going to be some changes or whatever. And so she was like, oh, really? And he's like, oh, well, so you've heard of these people before? And she was like, well, no, just recently, but I don't really know about them like that. To make a long story short, he was like, they're looking forward to a phone call from you, and whoever the person is who is able to handle this situation for him will be up for partner. So she gonna have a difficult decision to make. Are you gonna sit up here and just do what you gotta do for the sake of money and your reputation in these streets because of the field that you work in, or are you going to be about the people and be about what's right? Because whatever that situation is that old boy knows about that's dangerous, it's too much. I would not want to sit up there and sacrifice my own life and my livelihood knowing good and well that deep down in my heart, people could die. Soldiers could die behind whatever in the world is wrong with that product that he put out in that radio. So there was a recital, and the oldest daughter who plays the violin was there. She was playing well, and Tamara was there along with her mother, and they both were like, this sounds the best it's ever sounded before. I don't hear nothing wrong with the violin. So the daddy, who is the ex-husband, I found out he's the ex-husband, he came, he showed up, he was late. And so nobody was expecting him. The son was, kind of happy to see him. He addressed everybody, and everybody looking at him like, boy, bye. So anyway, the recital is over, and, everybody's greeting her, telling her how well she did. She happy to see her daddy. And this is when everybody finds out that the daddy that set it off and bought a brand new violin. Well, not a brand new one, but the one that Miss Virginia, who is the woman who owns the violin in that store that we saw earlier in the episode. So what he did was he put $5,000 down on it, and the woman is willing to wait on the other half. They worked that deal out, and that's the only reason why. So she trying to figure out where he get $5,000 from when he can't even come up with $200 per month for child support. So she tired of her spirit, and later on that night, her and Tamara are at the house drinking wine and reading him down. So awesome. You can't come up with $200, but all of a sudden you can come out of your pocket with $5,000. Oh, okay. And then she said that her ex-husband has the heart of a common criminal and all this other stuff. I'm like, Lord have mercy. Oh my gosh. Okay, y'all. So Delilah is in the middle of writing up some stuff. She's typing up some stuff for Leah Davis. And she gets a phone call from Gary. Gary then called, and he was like, yeah. So I want to talk to you. And he agreed to meet up with her at some place. And so she was like, well, is this anything in regards to that white Land Rover that I saw outside your house? And he was like, yes. So, they supposed to meet on Sunday at like 5 something or whatever. Child, do you think we're going to make it to Sunday? Anyway, I'll answer that in a minute. So anyway, the day has come where the little boy is supposed to go back and be with his mama. I think the boy's mama is her brother's child's mama. Her brother is the one who was on the phone with the little boy at the beginning of the episode, and he went off and did a tour somewhere, and I think this was his second tour, and he actually is in a facility in the hospital or whatever right now trying to recover. He's in a wheelchair. And so, yeah, that's why I was confused, because I was like, that boy look a whole lot like him, like in real life, to me at least. I was like, shoot. They must have said, we're going to get 2 checks in this house. Both of us going to do this. But anyway, that little boy is so sweet. So he's supposed to go back with the mama. The mama ain't never showed up. The mama named Christina. She ain't showed up. So she was like, well, when is she going to be ready? First, she said she needed a week. Then she said she needed a couple of months. And then that then turned into 6 months. And she told me she still ain't ready. He said he don't know when she going to be ready. And so she was like, well, how long is it going to take for you to be discharged? 6 months? 7 weeks? He said, no, 6 weeks. Okay. So she got to take this boy back home. She keep letting this boy down, trying to tell him, oh, well, I'm going to come visit you and all this other stuff. And he is very happy about that. And it was just to the point where she was like, what have I told you? Because he kind of in his feelings. And so he was like, you don't lie, and you always do what you say you're going to do. And so she was like, exactly. Now, why you keep asking me all these questions like we in court? We ain't in court. But that boy is so sweet. Like, he kind of made my ovaries do something. And I ain't having no children. Like, you ain't guaranteed to get no sweet child like that. You're not guaranteed. But anyway, so the boy, she probably gonna have to take the boy back home with her, because he can't take care of him, because he's being taken care of right now. So it's like, what in the world? I don't even know how severe his injuries are. But anyway, while she was talking to him, she showed him a picture of the radio and was like, well, have you ever had any dealings with these? And, do you know anything about them? He was like, yeah, I've used them, but You know, nothing. I've never heard of anything happening to anybody. So, man, it's just too much going on. Y'all, she ended up getting a phone call while she was there talking to him, and she went to talk to old boy. I don't know if his name is Max or what else, because one minute it sounded like she's saying Max to me, and then it sounded like she's saying something else. But anyway, the man who be doing all this recon and background checking for her. So, looked into all this stuff, and she was like, hey, I'm gonna need for you to drop by his house, Gary's house, to see if that Land Rover is still there, because he seems to think that it's always there and all of that. So he was like, okay, well, when I'm done with my run, I'll drop by. So he ended up calling her later on and was like, yeah, remember when you told me to drop by here? I'm here. And yeah, a lot is going on. There's an ambulance here. Gary is dead. I don't know if he killed himself. I don't know if the folks killed him. The woman, his wife at the house with the baby, the brand new baby, like his family and everybody was in town to celebrate them finally having a baby. The most went down. I don't know how he died, but this man is dead. And so everybody is now like, all right, Delilah on to something. This is too much going on. And then her friend is like, man, we've been going 20 years at all of this. We have never in 20 years had to go up against one another when it comes to all of this stuff in court. I don't want to have to start it now. So she's like, partnership is on the table. So what if, I mean, I'm just like, girl, go work for her or something. I don't know. But Delilah ain't got no money like that. She even tried to convince Delilah to, you know, come to that side to just be about the money. Because I'm glad that she did tell that girl. When she did that interview, she told her, if you're going to do it for the money, do it for the money. If you're going to do it for the people, do it for the people. But don't sit up here and try to make it seem like you're here for one thing when you're not. That means you're not going to put your whole heart into it. And that's what I don't like about people when it comes to certain things. That's why when I was a social worker, I put my heart into it, because the pay, it was fine for what it was, me coming straight out of college, getting right into it. But I was all about my clients and their well-being. And I just ended up getting a check at the end of the day so I could sustain my living, my very, very whatever living. So yeah, y'all. Sorry. Anyway, hopefully y'all enjoyed this recap review for the first ever episode of Delilah. I will be back with the second episode recap review. Y'all, let's get down in the comment section and discuss all of this. Bye.